said it's made in New York, right?
Yes, it is a New York company too. I keep forgetting that.
Springford.
And you believe this sign is gonna be a great asset for us?
It
Just
will.
tell me a little more about it, because I'm not fully convinced yet.
Sure. Well, it was budgeted for in our capital program. Its purpose is to basically increase our advertising reach and also welcome the visitors to Ogdensburg, New York.
You can put all sorts of messages up there too, couldn't you?
Yes,
Like
it's equivalent.
promotions. for
I
bridge
describe it
passes
as you've seen in Kenny's or Walmart these photo frames that rotate
Yeah.
photos and things like that. That's essentially what this does, but it's a photo frame on steroids.
You can control it in-house, right?
Exactly. You can update it wirelessly.
So you're gonna be sitting in here saying Wade says hey?
No.
That's Fred.
Say hi, everyone, welcome.
Can't take a picture.
But is the idea that you put in 3 or 4 messages and they
You can put
rotate?
in three or four rotating messages in there. You could advertise space in the park. You could say welcome to Ogdensburg. You could, I don't believe this has the weather option, but you could have like a weather report on there. A variety of different things.
Say if we give a message, Chairman could give us a message on that one.
Here are things too, we talked about truck traffic, this stuff, now you talked about truck traffic and how it gets there. You can sort of visually explain why this would be a better option than going all the way down to 1009. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I think that's fine.
I mean, whether they, the truckers that see it, they all talk. We can save money here and know how to get to this point. You can even put directions, how to get to where you want to go on that. Directional signs are most important.
And the other thing that the Facilities Committee looked at today was the maintenance agreement on the border station and recommended the approval of train.
That's a lot of money, but
Okay. Okay, I see unfinished business approval of use permit for Kimberly Richards.
That's going to hold for the time being.
Okay, we'll pass on that. Next board meeting you listed as June 11th. I think all this was tentative, if I remember correctly. June 11th. Or is everybody okay with that?
Fine with you.
Right, okay.
Huh? Sure.
It's a Monday again?
Would it be possible to start the
I was gonna say, because Fred
meeting a
has,
little earlier? The reason being is that I've got some things that the Deputy Executive Director and CFO
yeah,
needs to be present for.
yeah,
And that's a potential issue.
Because it is a Monday night.
Yes.
it's the wrong Monday night though. They meet twice a month, I think.
well, we went from Tuesdays to Wednesday, now we're on to Mondays,
Well, we went to Monday this time because everybody was not in the hooks.
right, yeah,
You can always go back to Tuesday.
or Wednesday, Tuesday.
Wednesday's a bad day for me.
Let's go to, how about Tuesday? Would that be better Tuesday? I heard Fred said today that, reports and things that Mondays were more difficult for him.
I can't do the 12th.
Stay with 11th.
Yeah, the second Tuesdays don't work.
Let's stay with 11th. You want facilities at what? 2?
If we could do facilities at 2 and the board meeting at 3, I think that would be good.
Fine.
The reason I ask is, for example, on one of the issues we'll talk about in tonight's executive session, the Deputy Director was also present in those discussions, and when I give you my opinion, that's only one perspective, and I'd like you to have both perspectives on this. That's why I asked.
Okay, so
What's wrong with a Thursday night meeting then? Go with the Monday.
I thought last time when we got everybody together, somebody had something going on that night.
Well, nobody seems to have a problem with Thursday.
You're talking the 14th, Fred?
Yeah.
Friday.
I won't interfere with my golf.
Friday's right there.
Yeah, we'll be okay.
You gotta give people a little more time to get
golf.
Monday's a bad day to come out of the loop.
I think so too.
Thursday's a good time.
Okay, wanna go Thursday, everybody? Doug?
Yeah.
Thursday,
Okay,
14th,
Thursday, 14th.
We're still doing it at 3?
Well,
3 o'clock. Work for everybody?
For the board meeting.
For the board
Yeah.
meeting.
2 o'clock
Do
for,
that start early again?
It's summertime. start
Summer
early.
hours.
No, I'll vote the July one, let's take care of that one, because that's scheduled for a Monday also.
Bush?
Excuse me.
It's the Thursday.
So you wanna switch it to,
That would be Thursday the 12th.
Yeah.
That's good.
Would that work for everybody?
Mhm.
Okay, want to keep the same time, 2 o'clock? Facilities, 3 o'clock board?
You know, if our friend Mr. Nelson was still with us,
Hmm?
he'd be whining about that, wouldn't he? Moving the meetings around too much.
Well, myself, that's why I had asked this before. I would rather go to a morning meeting from 9 to noon and get it done. That's what we used to have, and it seemed to work better for everybody that was here than the people like yourself and Ramona had the afternoon to do what they had to do. You know?
If you guys wanna
that's
change the
good for
morning.
winter hours, but not for summer hours. I mean, I like to use my dates.
I understand that.
Well, let's talk
Well,
about
let's-
it in July.
We'll talk about it in July. Okay.
So we're at July 12th then.
July 12th at 2 o'clock and 3 o'clock.
Okay, business items, Wade?
Okay, the first business item is the approval of the industrial building lease with DTA Systems Corporation. It's over on page 4 of your packet. And where this is the conceptually, this is the front half of what used to be John's old office upstairs. And kind of give you an idea where you're in the building. It's 130 square feet at the rates, terms, and conditions you see before you.
And those in here, they automatically include utility, they don't need
Yes.
interface or anything.
That's right.
A motion,
I'll move that.
I'll second.
second. Any further discussion? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
A small Ottawa-based company that designs
Yeah.
components for sonar and radar systems. They do have some pretty big name U.S. military customers. So this is just so they can get a U.S. office, and they're going to hire 1 or 2 people to man phones and to start.
Yeah, good. You think any more come out of that, John? We don't know.
Oh yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Well, hopefully they'll have over space and need something in the park.
That's what I'm saying,
That
yeah.
would be ideal.
That's good, nice job with that. Okay, Wade?
Okay, second up, the item A2 over on page 6 of the packet. This is a supplemental lease agreement with Dr. Carol Griffith and Harold Lambert. They need additional space, and as you can see on page 7, this would be the back corner office adjacent to where they already rent, next to the radio station,
Okay.
at the rates, terms, and conditions you see before you.
Get a different rate, John, not just
250 square foot.
no, I don't mean that way, I mean from,
That's the utility.
That's the utilities.
Oh,
Same rate that they presently pay in their existing space.
$11.99, is that what they're paying?
91.
91? I'll make a motion, Mr. Chairman.
I appreciate that, Mr. Carter. I need a second?
I'll second.
Steve, second. Any further discussion? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
On page 8 of your packet, agenda item A3, this is approval of an industrial building lease agreement with Hayes Stewart. This is a marine surveyor at the port. They need an office space. They're looking for office space term July 1, 2012 through June 30th, 2013. This would be in the other half of John's former office upstairs.
Making good use of your own office, John.
Yeah.
Yep.
I make a motion for approval.
I'll second.
Fred, second by Mulder. Any further discussion?
Incidentally, just to point out, this brings the occupancy of this building to 100% now. We're out of space in this building.
When they say marine surveying, Derek was asking me this the other day, because these people contacted us also. And I didn't know what to tell them. Are they surveying the bottom of the river, or what are they doing?
No, this deals with surveying the, basically, I don't know how to describe it without using the word survey in it. It's
Their functions,
vessel surveys.
their function is supercargo. They're actually overseeing the longshoremen to make sure everything's done properly as far as the hookups and
Yes.
to ensure that there's no damage to the equipment.
Kind of like our
They
human
work
insurance
for-
policy.
They work for
Yeah.
Steve and just protect us and
So this is, could we expect them to stay here after the present shipments are finished? Or?
they
It's
may.
possible, but unlikely at this point. I mean, they generally will be where there's lots of cargo. If we continue to increase our business here, it's very possible.
So I'll tell you, they've contacted us about setting them up with a U.S. corporation and doing all the accounting setup.
Excellent.
Well,
They do have other business up and down
Do
this
they?
area, so.
well, what you just
that's
said,
the thing.
sorry, Joe. John, I'm sorry to interrupt you. What you say?
No, it's just that that's what they were thinking of, was getting a US company so they can serve this side of the river as
Okay.
well.
Wait, what you just said, kind of, is there any buildings over there that all of a sudden we could, make into office space or adapt those buildings in for office space, or is there anything there that we can now move?
We have a lot of offices that are available. Building 1 in particular lends itself to that type of configuration,
Okay,
with a hallway and individual offices off there.
okay, so we're not done, so we can still.
Oh, absolutely.
Okay, I just wondered if they were just, okay. Okay. We pass that? No.
No, we had a motion and.
Okay, let's move. Don't put this, that's right, wait to interrupt my thought. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Very good, everybody.
Okay, so we'll jump right over to page 11. This is item B1. This is approval of a regional council award. This is the, let me just explain this in general. This is the $450,000 that was originally intended for rail repairs that we got through the help of our local elected officials and agencies that we deal with. Got this reprogrammed to fund the port access road on a reimbursable basis. This offer is good through May 11th and is attached there and behind. I'd be happy to answer any questions that you have regarding it.
Do we pay this back?
No,
Oh, okay, I kind of.
this is money that Jim Wright and
Yeah, I want you to go on that, go ahead.
got approved for us when Tony Collins and him did this thing. Wade and them were all working on this. And this $450,000 come in with that 120 million, whatever it was, for the whole area. And what did Jim Wright did is, after we had our meeting with the DOT that day down there, where we went in to see if Dan could help us out in any way, had Jim look into a couple of things. Wade had already covered both of that, but we were kind of like in a stop position in Watertown. That guy said nothing could be done, but he would bring it and refer it and do whatever. And that Friday night, the following week, Jim was at an executive meeting in Lake Placid, and Tony Collins, I believe it was, he's the president.
Yes.
And Jim is on the executive committee. They rerouted this money, took it out of the rail, and routed it back to the road. So they had to change all that, and they did. We will probably be looking for more money later on to put back into the rail of this $450,000. But this money now is better spent where it's being spent. And then it actually takes in the rail is, it's because we got crossings there and everything else.
Well, and it really matches the intent of the regional council award in the first place. The intent was get it out on the street, get it creating jobs. Well, it will. It's creating 70 jobs down at the Port of Ogdensburg right now. not to mention what it will do for us going forward.
But I can tell you one thing, as far as I'm concerned, that, and I'd like to say it on the record, Jim Wright, done a lot for us to get this money turned around and coming back to the right direction. That's my opinion. So I just wanna make sure that,
So I would concur with that, and I'd also say this about you, Fred, and you sitting in the seat and your past experience with, and that being on the date board, have been very important to us here. So it's much thanks for you and what your contacts and how you work through this process, and it's allowed us to be thankful for you, Fred. Appreciate it.
okay, I'd, make the motion to approve it.
Second.
Any more questions, comments? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
It is a very good, thank you.
Okay, on page 20, item B2, this is approval of agreement with St. Lawrence County Industrial Development Agency.
This is wage.
This is, again, of the $630,000 that we're short, 400 and, conceptually 450 was covered by the ESD money. This is, or I'm sorry, the ESD reimbursable grant. It's not money, but it is the shortfall of the 182,000 was filled from two sources. That's a $95,000 grant through St. Lawrence County IDA. I'm sorry, a $95,000 grant through the River Valley Redevelopment Authority, and an $87,000 grant through the Civic Development Corporation of St. Lawrence County IDA. And what this resolution does, it accepts both parts of that funding.
Wait, before you go any further, I think everybody needs to explain what the River Valley Redevelopment Agency is, because I didn't know about this until we started working this process. And I didn't know this was a structure going on, or a program going on, so maybe.
There's a pot of funds out there, they're NIPA-related funds that come to 4 towns that were impacted heavily by the New York Power Authority. We are located in one of those towns. Therefore, we're eligible to put in for an application. We did so. We sacrificed 2 of our other applications to make this happen, and fill the funding gap.
And this is the 2 grant, and the loan was, some of the help came from Senator Ritchie. She got involved and tried to do her best for us to make sure that this went through for us. And on these 2, I would have to say thanks to Senator Ritchie, we got them approved. She worked on it hard. Now, the grant is clean money to us, but the loan has to be paid back. It's not a forgivable loan, so we do have to pay the $87,000 back. And on top of that, I'm just giving you some of my background here, is we also, the authorities also picking up 182,000, or maybe less than that, is it for the, or 134,000 for the inspection part of it and stuff.
No,
On
I
top of this,
know where you're getting that number from. The, well, let me stop and go back up a step. We had a $1.3 million budget on the project. We got a $1.9 million bill on the project. We had to fill the gap of the $630,000. We've done that, but in the meantime, you'll also recall we took some steps like hiring a field inspector as opposed to having the engineer do it. And bottom line, we've taken what would have been a $108,000 bill, and we have shrunken that down significantly. So as a result, the numbers, it changes the gap over time. So the gap was 630, it's now something smaller than 630. So I hope that helps to answer your question there, Fred.
well, it does, because we're still, $100 and some thousand we have to pick up out of our treasury, to which was 134 before, if we would have had the engineering company do it. And that was my comment was, why would we hire the same guy to inspect his own work? And that's why we decided to go the route we went. So all of these costs will come out eventually, so.
It's been a couple of
That's
days
all I
since
wanna
I
say.
looked at it, but if I recall, that 108,000 had been knocked down to around 54,000. When we added it all up.
But we're not done yet. With that, I'd make a motion to approve it.
I'll second.
Any further questions?
Mr. Chairman, I need to inform you, I have to abstain on this.
Okay.
These are both audit clients of my firm.
Okay, so acknowledged. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
And one abstain.
Okay, so that brings us over to page 29 of the document. This is approval of a handling and storage agreement with BBC Charter. Just back up a step here. In this wind turbine project, we have a customer that is doing the logistics. That customer is named Transera. That's the agreement that you saw last time. We also have to have an agreement with the ship, and this is the agreement with the ship. This is BBC Charter. The term of the agreements from May 1, 2012 through December 31, 2012. The details are provided on the next page and are consistent with the rates, terms, and conditions that were in the Transera agreement that you've seen previously.
One thing I noticed on here was the discount.
Yes, that's a very good point. These ships come in loaded and leave empty. One of the things that we're working on, we have 11 unique occurrences where that happens. We are working both with the ship owner, St. Lawrence County IDA, and various businesses in our area to try and send them out of here loaded. Again, we have some free storage that we can provide, and we did provide a discount for outbound cargo as well. So that's a very important point. Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I'd forgotten about that.
Have a motion?
I'll move it.
I'll second
Doug?
it.
Doug and Steve will second. Further questions, comments? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Okay, agenda item B4 on page 37. This is a ratification of the appointment of a field inspector. You recall at the last meeting, the board authorized myself to hire a qualified field inspector for the Port Access Road project. We did that. The individual is Mr. Fred Badlam, April 6, 2012, to provide field inspection services for the Port Access Road at the rates, terms, and conditions you see before you.
I make a motion to approve the,
Second.
Second. Any comments, by anyone? I'll make one, as far as, I know that Mr. Badin with his talents and abilities being available in the way we needed somebody right away to have there. And also he gave a report here earlier today that he started to realize, having knowledge and expertise of that land and area and what the logistical problems are, is, and obviously it's excellent to have him on board to do that also, so, that's my comment about him, so. I know he's got his hands full.
It's been a very big help at the port so far.
All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Okay, on page 38, item B5 is approval of a handling and storage agreement with Pool and Grain. At the rates, terms, and conditions you see before you, the period would start May 1st, 2012 through April 30th, 2013.
make a motion to approve it.
Second.
Second by Doug. Questions, comments? Says there is none, then all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Okay, on page 39, agenda item B6, this is an agreement with Blount Small Ship Adventures. There's a typo in there that should be Blount, B-L-O-U-N-T, on the report section. You've seen this before as American, Canadian, Caribbean lines, and what they do is they ask each year to dock at the Port of Ogdensburg for approximately 1 hour per visit to clear customs.
They don't fuel up or anything on our dock, right?
No, it's just a straight, right in, right out.
$200?
$200.
1 hour.
Hmm.
We got that fingerprint system for them, so when they touch in, they touch out, we know they only been there an hour. We keep accurate time of that hour, or we just give them a flat fee, really?
It's just a flat fee.
Yeah, I know it's an
my
hour.
experience, they've
Yeah.
never been here that long.
Yeah.
I'll put it this way, I've gone down to see them before, and by the time I got down to the port, they're gone,
They're gone.
so.
Hope you didn't drive all the way from Potsdam. Make a motion to approve it.
Yeah, make a motion to approve. We have Fred,
second
we have a second from Steve. Fred and Steve. Any comments? None? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Very good.
Item B7 on page 40, this is ratification of an agreement with Hayes Stewart. Again, this is for marine surveying services at the Port of Ogdensburg. This is our, for lack of a better term, human insurance policy at the port to make sure that we don't have damage. It helps oversee our longshoremen and has some unique capabilities, expertise that we don't have ourselves.
So how many hours does he work?
He's down there while the ship is in port.
He gets paid for all the time that ship's in port?
Yes. While he's working, yes.
While the ship's in port? He gets $110 an hour, so how many
No,
hours
he's-
does he work?
As far as I know, he's not getting paid while he sleeps, but he is getting paid while he works down there, yes.
And he answered my question, maybe I'm not asking you the right way. Are we paying him $110 per hour for the hours he actually worked?
Yes,
Or we're paying him $110 an hour for how long as the ship has been in?
we were paying him for hours worked, not for how long the ship is in.
Was that an 8-hour day? Or less?
Well, for Saturday, for example, that was a 10-hour shift on Saturday, and I'm
So
sure
you
there
paid him
was,
you paid him $1,000.
I'm sure there was probably some form of time in the beginning and at the end as well.
No,
What was
That's
the rate
straight
for-
up costs, and weekends,
That's-
it's not overtime or something?
It would be after 8 hours probably.
That is, let me switch gears and look at the facilities committee one. In a second. Where's the detail on that, Tisha, the sole source justification? I don't see the back up here. Do you have that handy, Bud, yet? I'm sorry, I apologize, you're missing a page in between 40 and 41 here.
Mr. Chairman, I apologize because I have no, I don't even know what this guy does.
I have no idea. So I read my report, and I'm assuming that this is-
Earlier in my questions, I had asked who was the guys that was inspecting the ship before it was unloaded, to make sure the cargo hadn't shipped in transit, to make sure there's no damage, and et cetera. Goes to all the longshoremen are doing that inspection and stuff. That's what I was concerned about.
Yes.
My concern is,
That's the direction of this guy.
is the way the ships work and my education here on this thing and listening to these people. Once you hook and drop and pull that off the ship, it's your baby.
Mhm.
Don't come back to the ship and say it was damaged. So you got ship insurance versus our insurance. If that thing is damaged on the ship, it's the ship's insurance. It pays that, or whatever. I don't know how it works. But this, I don't know about that. I don't know why we had to hire this professional fee, and I don't know what the deal is, but I wanna make sure what we're paying this guy. Now, this ship has been in here a total of 46 hours. So if we're paying this guy $5,000,
That's right.
well, I don't know how long it would take this guy to inspect the ship. But what I'm hearing is this guy does more than this, he does what,
Yes, he does. He oversees the longshoremen. He
I don't
does.
understand, what's he oversee?
That's why I want to get Steve Lawrence on the phone.
But see, we never knew about this
Hey Steve, it's
This
okay.
position.
No, just a second,
Well, this
wait.
position is not a position. This is a service that's being provided. This was in our quotation, this was in our Transera discussion.
So we budgeted this.
This is not a surprise. This same individual was here last time as well.
So we're back charging the windmill company for all this?
We are not back charging. It is built into the quote. It is built in there as one of the anticipated costs. Yes, is he on the phone?
Yeah.
Yeah, put him on speaker, bring him over here, please. Let me put that on speaker.
Steve? Hello?
Steve, you there?
Hang the phone up.
Steve?
Hi, Steve, are you there?
Are you live?
Says microphone muted there.
Steve?
Can you hear me now? Oops.
Hey, Steve. Wade Davis, Board of Directors here. How you doing?
Okay, what's up?
All right. A question has come up. We're on the ratification of the agreement with Hayes Stewart. The question is, what does a marine surveyor do? And they also have a copy of the Marine Surveyor Services Justification in front of them at this point. Could you explain a little bit more about, in generic terms, what a marine surveyor does and how that helps us at the port?
Well, basically, they supervise the lift on our behalf as far as the logistics of taking off the components. A lot of those issues with windmill components belong to the port, and right now we're just trying to get the experience. And from the last project in 2008, they were representing. They were with John Paniton's group, Crack, and in this case, we needed to hire them to help supervise the lift because that responsibility was on us on this project.
So what unique service do they provide us that we wouldn't have otherwise? Could you give us a couple of concrete examples to work with?
Oh yeah, all the maritime terms and dealings with the crew and the first mate and things like that. You need an interface to make, when you've got that many people and equipment relying on keeping things moving. You need that coordination with the vessel, and a lot of times you've got people speaking different languages. You've got port captains, and then you've got people on the ground with all of the cranes and equipment, and you need to keep that going, and you need that experience with where to go next and kind of looking a few steps ahead with, and also how to handle. It's really, this isn't everyday cargo. It's just a high value cargo, and you've got to know, where your next move, and a lot of it has to do with, getting it off on time so that things move smoothly.
Why wouldn't the windmill people be paying this instead of us? I mean, he's basically there for, how many hours is he there for, Steve?
He's there for they're there for 2 shifts for 8 hours a shift.
So we're paying him $110 per hour plus all these other fringes?
Right, but we pass that cost on to, that's part of the supervision and training. We're trying to get some training for our people and myself.
So is this cost passed on to the shipping company or to the Vesta company?
They're indirectly paying for it.
I think it goes to BBC.
Yeah,
Transera and
sorry.
BBC, the combination pay that.
So they don't get the total amount of hours the ship is at dock, do they? They only get what they work?
Exactly.
So they only get what they work?
That's correct.
Okay.
So you must have a time card or something?
No, we document, like, I've got a OS&D report that we do every day that kind of goes through the whole day, kind of a
Great, okay.
rough diary of what's going on, and we have start of shift and the end of shift, and so we go based on that. But they're here they're here when we're here for loading, but, you know, when the vessels, there's no activity going on, we don't, you know, they don't do anything when that happens.
Now, where are these folks from? Canada?
They're from Montreal.
They're all from Montreal, eh? So we're paying for their mileage and traveling and all of that stuff too.
Yeah,
And that was all figured in when you guys did the pricing on this?
Yes.
that's correct.
How many people are involved, Steve, in this?
For Hay Stewart,
Yes.
they've got 3 people on rotation depending on, you know,
Okay.
on what their schedule. They've got other places that they work, but if someone's, you know, who's available, they kind of rotate. But they've got 3 people that are available throughout the 11 vessels here.
So who's keeping track of their time?
I am.
Okay, so you're going to sign them time cards?
Yeah, we have a. We'll have a.
You're going to sign those time cards, right, Steve? You're going to sign them time cards if they're accurate, right?
Correct.
Thank you.
So, Steve, just a point of clarification, there's only one here at a time. There's not all 3 of them here at one time, correct?
No, I don't
Okay.
have. Yeah, I don't. During any 1 hour of work, there's only 1 hour charge
Okay.
supervision.
Okay, thank you.
But they're not traveling back and forth.
Yeah, they are.
No, they come down. What they'll do is, the idea is, like, say they come down in the midday, and then they might stay overnight 2 nights, and then they leave on the 3rd day. They don't go up and back, no.
Okay.
Just they'll stay, and then they're working at trying to keep those costs down. I asked them if they could do that, and they've been pretty good about that so far.
Well, we're going to be keeping track of it, buddy. Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
Thank you, Steve. Are
Thanks,
there
Steve.
any other questions out there?
Thanks, Steve.
Thank you very much, Steve.
You're welcome. Okay, bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
I'd like to hear what he's saying right now. I'd make a motion to pass this resolution under the clearance and clarification that we have, and the time cards are going to be signed by Steve. It'll be accurate time cards for us. Because this will come to haunt you down the road if you don't have that information. When you have auditors come in here. Or you have the company that we're working for say, no, we're not paying all them hours. We don't think these guys, you must have records. So to make it certified, Steve's got to sign those records.
Are there actual time cards, or I didn't get that part where he said he's
Keeping a
track.
log.
He's keeping a log. He's got basically a book down there of all the activity that's going on. He's keeping track of everything.
So within that,
Thank you, Chris.
he's
I
got
hope you give me enough no's.
something saying this guy was here for a certain number of hours each day.
Well, Steve's on the job site all day, right?
Yes.
Yeah, he's down there, well,
Yeah, he's down there for as long as it takes, but, so he'll know who's there or not.
I don't know who he's got working in it when he's not there. He must have somebody down there in the longshoreman.
No, he's been down. I was down there most of the day on Saturday, part of the day on Sunday. He's covering the whole thing.
But the things he's telling me that these guys are doing here is they're actually telling and guiding the lifts.
Yes.